So, this is TBA with Felicia and Jane, and we're here with special guest Cody Lovaas.
Yay!
Hello.
Yay! Welcome.
Thank you.
It's early here at Brooklyn College.
Sure.
9:30 in the morning on a beautiful Wednesday morning where it's not severely hot like our first interview, and there's no blizzard and school cancellation like our second. So you're here on a literally perfect day.
Well, I mean, except for the fact we couldn't get into the studio, but...
all
Outside
good.
of that,
We're working through it.
the weather is nice
yeah.
for once. So, let's start. So how was your commute here?
The commute was easy. We just Ubered over, and no problems.
And not in the snow this time?
No.
Well, that was simple. For people who don't really know who you are or like the music you play, can you give us a little introduction about you and the music you perform?
Totally. I'm from San Diego. I'm 19, and I'm a singer-songwriter. And yeah, it's like kind of singer-songwriter pop music with a hint of R&B, I'd say.
Ooh, a hint.
So that's what I do.
Wow.
Wow. So, you're currently not on tour from the internet stalking we did on you. So,
That'd be
what brings you to New York this week?
You guys, I came purely for this. This
Really?
is no, not really.
No.
Oh
But
man, I got
I
really
like this.
excited.
According to Twitter, you've been here since April 8th,
yeah.
and today is the 11th. That sounds super shady,
It
but we
does.
do our research really, really well. And you tweeted NYC, and I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
This is the content we need.
Yeah, no, I'm out here to meet with people and do a lot of sessions and perform and just try to get the word out about the new single and all that jazz.
New single.
Yes.
Yeah. Which was really good, by the way.
Thank you.
So, we read through your entire life story from what you have on your website. And it
Yes.
seems like you credit a lot of your starting to your mom letting you do music.
Yeah.
So, if you want to talk about your mom, because I love moms, I think we all love moms. So.
Yeah, mom's the best. No, the story's pretty interesting because I was 7. I was in the back seat of the car and we were driving, and I asked my mom if I could play the drums, and I was way too energetic of a kid, and the house would just be way too loud if I did. So she suggested that I take guitar up instead. So I started and had such a terrible teacher. It was the guy who was like, sit up straight, and he had these strings on my guitar that hurt my fingers and made me read songs that I didn't want to learn, all that stuff. So I asked my mom if I could quit, and she said, if you want to quit, you have to fire your teacher. And I was 7, I wasn't going to fire somebody. So we got a new teacher, and this guy came over, and he taught me the songs I wanted to learn, asked me what music I liked, and he, was just gave me some of his passion, and I took a bit of it and ran with it. So, yeah, if it wasn't for my mom like stopping me from the drums and stopping me from quitting, then yeah, I don't know where I'd be.
Well, thanks. Thanks, Moms.
Thanks, Mom.
Hashtag parenting goals.
We also read, this sounds like super shady, we read about your coffee shop discovery, really, how you're performing in a coffee shop, and Jason Mraz just happened to be there.
Yeah.
The god himself. So can you tell us a bit about how that happened? Because I do know that at that point, then you went on tour and you were the opener for his tour in 2015.
Right. So when
Tell
I
us the
was
story.
when I was 13, I'd been playing coffee shops for about a year, just trying to get my name out or whatever, just enjoying performing live, and it was like every week, maybe twice a week, that I'd go to these open mics, and one of them was in Oceanside. It's a coffee shop called Hill Street Cafe, and I walk in, and Jason Mraz is on stage, and he performs like 4 songs, and then he gets off stage. He wanted to try out some new material, and I played 2 songs, and one of them I had written the night before, and he came up to me after I played and was like, wow, that was like awesome, whatever, and told me he wanted to mentor me and take me under his wing, introduce me to people, all that. So 13-year-old me was pretty stoked, and we went and we surfed together, and then went to his recording studio after, and we recorded this terrible song. But yeah, it was a special thing for me. And then when I was 15, I got to open up for him on his U.S. tour, so that was amazing. And yeah, Jason is a close friend of mine now, so he's a great guy.
That's incredible, because you said you
lovely.
started performing like in coffee shops like when you were like 13, and my brother's turning 13, so I'm trying to picture
So
a version of you and him performing in coffee shops and then
So-
being discovered by Jason Mraz.
So take
Right.
Armando, make him learn guitar within the next year, send him to a coffee shop, and
he
hope
has one at
someone
home.
send
I
him to
tried
a coffee
teaching him.
shop and hope that he
He's got a chance.
I'll bring him to the Starbucks in our supermarket and set up Mike there.
just make him hang out in the subway. Like the subway station, he can play his music there. The Times Square,
mean,
the 42nd
yeah.
Street station's where it's poppin'.
The 42nd Street. Okay, then I guess I gotta.
And then they always block the escalator. Like, excuse me, I have places to be. I don't want.
People playing music too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They block the
There's
escalator.
always somebody, even
Some
in
savage musicians.
if you go to Penn Station really late at night, there's always some sort of performance happen. You have to get a permit for it, but there's always some sort of performance
You
happening.
need a permit?
And for Penn Station, yeah.
Oh.
On the subway station, depending on which subway station, not really, but like for Penn Station, because of how big of a station it is, you need to have a permit.
Oh, good to know. You learn new things every day.
Yeah, there's a little Penn Station story for you.
Yay.
Alrighty.
So what was your tour like with Jason Mraz? I feel like that's like a big one, and you're like young and seeing everything. Was that your first tour? Or
Yeah, it was my first tour. I'd gone on stage with him a bunch. We played like Hollywood Bowl together and like some really big arenas. But on the tour, it was a magical first tour. You know, a lot of people just are in a bus and or something, you know, or in their car, which you know is just a different style than what I had on my first tour. We had just like the perfect tour buses and hotels and flights, all just like I was just mobbing around feeling like a king. And then ever since then the tours have been less and less.
Aw.
No, it's been just as fun, but I've been like bringing a tent with my truck and just driving around and doing that whole thing. So I'm just saying it's been backwards. Like I started off with such a lavish tour, and then hopefully gonna make my way back up there.
Yeah, but you had like Jason Mraz as like I've been listening to Jason Mraz for years and years and years on end. I've never seen him live, but having him as your mentor must have been such an incredible thing from such a young age. And
Right.
if you didn't go to that coffee shop that day, then where you would be right now would be completely different.
Oh, absolutely.
Sorry,
At
that was
Jason,
like
at
super
Jason, where are you at?
philosophical.
Cody needs another tour.
Jason Mraz, please come in for an interview.
He should have brought you as his understudy for Waitress.
Yeah,
Oh.
actually, I was trying to get out here and see it. I
It was
didn't get to.
good. I camped outside for like 5 hours.
You
for
saw
his-
it?
For his last weekend, yeah.
Awesome.
It was good.
How was he?
It was good.
Okay.
I can talk a long time about how much I love Waitress, but we only have so much time here today.
I'm pretty sure you gave me like a full half an hour spiel on how wonderful it was.
I love Waitress.
About like the first half of it.
That's good.
Where are we? Oh, okay. So, let's talk about your writing process for music. Where do you really get most of your inspiration from?
I'm inspired by like everything that goes on around me, I guess. Like my thing, I'm a storyteller, so that's my favorite thing to do. And writing songs is my #1 passion in all of this. So if I'm like going through something, or if I have a story to tell, I put it through song. And yeah, I just write about everything that I see and hear and feel and all that. So yeah, just my life, I guess, is what I'm inspired by.
Do you keep like a little notebook with you or like, a note tab on your phone for just little basic ideas that you find?
All of the above, yeah. I've got like 1,000 voice memos of like melodies and guitar parts, and then I've got a fat like book that I write all my songs in, and then I have like a doc open on my phone with like hundreds and hundreds of lines, and yeah, it could start with anything. There's no like real process for me. It's not like, okay, write a lyric and then play the guitar and then put the drums here or whatever. It's always different. It could start with anything, so it's random.
That's cool. Oh, I always find is everybody that we've interviewed so far, everybody has a different way of writing, a different way of keeping track of everything.
Right.
And I think it's so cool because I can't write.
It's the
And
most fun
it's
thing
great.
though.
You wrote this Word doc that we're using.
It's a bunch of questions, Jane. I could write questions. I can't write stories.
So you can do stories in questions.
Just a whole
It's a
question
mood.
song.
We'll work on it. So, from our internet stalking.
More of this.
Yes. We do our research really well. Like, when we're like, we got an interview, we're like, all right, let's check Twitter, let's check Instagram, let's check if they have, like, their own personal website.
And then go through their Twitter all the way from the beginning.
Oh, well, I don't go that far. I just find what I need, and that's it.
Nice.
She goes
deep.
deep.
Please employ me. But you really like surfing.
Yes.
And that's kind of where you began-ish, because you, like, grew up in California.
Yeah.
So how does that influence, like, your music style and, like, your career as a musician?
Right.
Yeah.
I've been surfing since I was like 6. Growing up in San Diego, it's kind of just something you have to do when you're that close to the ocean. And I've always just felt like being in the water is just the most reviving thing. It's like you can be having the worst day of your life and just get in the ocean. It just like hits a reset button. So it's awesome. And I don't know, I feel like it just always like just humbles me. There could be like a 2-foot day, which is small for surfing, and you could paddle out and just get worked from like a tiny wave. Like it's you never know what's going to happen in the ocean. It's just so powerful. So it's a humbling and amazing sport, and I love it. Try to do it as much as possible, but I'm doing it less and less as I'm like, traveling out to New York. It's less surfing here and all that stuff. So
A good place to surf is Long Beach,
Yeah.
out on Long Island. So
there's some really good spots out here. Like when it's good, it's really good.
And
out
no one
here.
wants to go to Long Island. Alicia lives in Long Island, that's why it's funny.
it's like a whole another world from Brooklyn.
I mean, I'd rather go to Long Island than Staten Island, so.
I think anybody would rather do that, honestly.
Danielle, if you're listening, I'm sorry I dissed Staten Island. I love you. I'll see you later. So, what
very.
artists are your inspiration?
My biggest inspiration has been John Mayer. Since I picked up the guitar, he's just the most, I don't know, I love his music. Jimi Hendrix is a big one. And then now, I mean, I used to literally only listen to John Mayer. Like, that's it. Like, I had, like, his albums, that was it. But now I'm listening to a bunch of different artists, as many songs and genres I can get my hands on. I feel like I can learn so much from everything, so.
What are some of your favorite artists right now?
Anderson .Paak is a big one. I listen to Kendrick and Drake and Russ. I like Russ a lot. Those are all urban musicians. But Coltrane, Ed Sheeran, of course. There's a bunch. I listen to everybody. So.
Listen to everybody? Cool. I was trying
Except from heavy metal.
Except for heavy metal? Don't tell Ken. Ken's our intern.
Yeah.
He'd be very he likes heavy metal. He'd be very disappointed.
Ken isn't here. I never forgot to tell Ken that we were doing this interview.
Tell
He's
him
sick
I vibe
anyway.
on some Nirvana, but that's like the heaviest I'll go. It's like Stay Away by Nirvana. That's like, that's the end.
That's the
Could
one.
that be a poll quote? Nirvana's the heaviest I'll go.
The poll quote on the bottom would just be like that little caption. Alrighty.
What a mood.
Okay, so let's talk about touring. If you could tour with any artist, who would it be and why? I feel like I know the answer already.
Well, tell me.
John Mayer.
John Mayer would be amazing, yes. That would be incredible. I mean, Ed Sheeran would be an awesome tour. Someone like James Bay or Niall Horan would be awesome. Yeah.
I could see that.
We'll tweet at them. We'll put it on our
love
to-do
James.
list.
Yeah, please do.
James Bay released a new song too, and it's so good.
Wild Love? Or
Yeah.
Pink Lemonade or whatever.
Pink Lemonade's my
See, he
favorite.
knows
Wild Love
them.
is good too.
Yeah. I
I had to
love Wild
listen.
Love.
It's so good.
Such a good song.
Love it.
And if you could play in any venue, where would you want to play and why?
I don't know. Red Rocks would be awesome. I went there to see a Jason show, and it was really, really special. Yeah, that's a good one.
And do you prefer performing like smaller venues or larger venues? I think there's like a difference in the vibes in all of them.
There's definitely a different vibe for each, but I mean, I started out with smaller venues, just my acoustic guitar and that's always special to kind of feel like I'm going back to my roots and just playing with my guitar and singing. But I like bigger venues because I can bring like my band and make people dance and stuff, and I like to do that. You know, the best night of my life is when I saw Anderson .Paak live, and I was just dancing and singing along, and that's what I want to do to people. I want to make them have a great time. So.
Oh, I like that answer. That's a good answer.
Thanks.
So what would your favorite on tour sort of moment be? Whether it was like on the road or performing.
Or not on tour moment, just kind of like a good moments in your career.
Yeah.
Give us the highlights.
Okay, well, I'll give you both. So a good touring one. I was on tour opening for Jason, and this fan had made she made shakers. She made us shakers that were us. Like, there was a Cody shaker and a Jason shaker.
Like egg
He had,
shakers,
like,
drink shakers, like.
I don't even know how to. It was. She used avocado pits for our heads, because Jason loves avocados.
That's impressive.
It's crazy, and you know, it was a shaker, and it looked like me. And then he had a fedora on his and stuff, and that was pretty funny. He just like came onto my bus and he was like, "Hey man, look what we got." And I was just like, "Wow, like that's incredible." And then outside of touring, I mean, I was waiting for such a long time to release my own music, and like my first single, you know, it's a big deal. It was a big deal to me to just like release that song, and to see that song live, it's on Spotify and everywhere, like perform well. That was like a big moment for me. We're edging close to 5 million streams on live, so that's like, that was a big moment to see us cross the 1 million line and then it keep going. It was just like, what? Like,
So we'll just set our Spotify's on like loop and just play it till you get tired.
yeah.
I was listening
Great.
to like all your songs yesterday for like a good like 2 hours straight, and I was
Nice.
like, all right, I'm like, I got
Get in the
this.
vibe.
Yeah.
Doing our research.
I do some research. I think
That's
my
good.
favorite one is Bodies.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think that one's my favorite
Nice.
out of like all of them so far.
Yeah, I was watching the music videos too. I like the music video for that one.
Yeah.
Why didn't you dance in it?
I did dance.
Okay.
A little bit. No, I do not. I don't dance, really. And if I tried to dance next to her, I'd just look like an idiot. She's amazing. She's a very talented dancer. And most of that was just like freestyle dancing, like not choreographed, like towards the end. Or wait, no. That's so false. That is so false. No, it was all choreographed. She did a separate video that she just did freestyle dancing. But the actual video was choreographed by Tierney Bourne, and she did an amazing job.
I dig it. So you're in New York this week promoting your new single.
Yes.
What have you done while you've been in the city? We always like finding out like what's poppin'.
We went to a Broadway show, which was very interesting.
I saw it was Rocktopia, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. They had an orchestra and they mixed classical music with rock music. It was pretty great. And then I don't know. We've been doing a bunch of meetings and running around. So last night we were really tired. We just like went to a movie and just
What movie did you see?
we saw Cockblockers.
How was it?
It was pretty funny. I
It
think-
sounds like a really bad, good movie.
Is that the one that
Yes,
John
yes.
Cena's in?
Yes.
What an icon. Remember when he played Fred's dad in the Fred movie on Nickelodeon? That's when I first found out who John Cena was. And then he ended up becoming a meme.
And now he's a movie star, and he still does wrestling.
Who
I
knows?
think my brother watches.
Adam is
wrestling,
nodding. Yes, he's
So
still.
yeah, he still does wrestling.
He
Okay.
crushed it in that movie last
Yeah, I
night.
did well.
John Cena.
Do-do-do-do.
We love the memes.
We do. Speaking of which, do you want to jump into our fun questions?
So,
Your meme questions.
Yeah.
Nice.
how do you know we have meme questions?
Well,
I just
speaking
said
Adam
of
tell-
which.
I said speaking of memes, let's jump into the fun questions.
So, do you have a favorite pre-show snack?
That's not the meme question.
Remember
Oh, you're going in order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pre-show snack. I like water a lot. No, I like apples with honey. Kind of like soothes
Apples with
my-
honey.
What kind of apples?
Just all sorts of apples. Not too specific on the
We're
apple.
making your tour rider for when we get you that tour with John Mayer. We can just
Yeah.
like submit it all at
Endless
once.
apples with honey and
Water.
Water.
lots of water.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your latest Netflix binge?
Ooh. Okay, Netflix. I'm always watching The Office. It's the greatest show ever.
I feel like that's a really
Dexter.
popular answer.
Yeah. But Dexter was my last like binge watching thing, and I was so into that. But if we're off of Netflix, Atlanta is my show, 100%.
That's a good show. I started watching
I
it,
like
and
Atlanta, too.
I never got to finish it. But from what I've seen, it's
okay.
good.
So, speaking of things you can binge watch, have you seen the Canadian cartoon Stoked?
No.
It's about surfers.
Amazing.
I bring this up like every time. But you're a
do.
surfer and you like music. It has a really good soundtrack. It's like, there's one season on Netflix. It's called Stoked. And it's a Canadian cartoon about surfers. And I always think everyone should watch it.
Amazing. I'm going to do that. I have a flight back, so I'll download that.
It's funny. It's cute.
Stoked.
So, what's your favorite meme?
My favorite meme. So, I try to stay off of my phone and like off of technology as much as I can. So I'm gonna have a really bad answer for you guys and say that I'm not a meme lover. You guys are gonna kick me out of your studio. I'm just.
Oh no, I just looking at
Jane-
Felicia to see her reaction.
It's totally... Jane refers to me as the meme queen, and I'm not sure as to why, just specifically me.
I think
I'll
it's
take it.
just mainly because like my friend posts all the stupidest memes you've ever seen on his private account, and it's the worst thing ever. I've like blocked him. It sucks. He's like he just like ruined the whole meme game for me.
Oh no.
Shout out to Hunter. You're terrible with your memes, man. Just quit.
In my brother's cell phone, Felicia's phone number is in as the meme queen.
Wow, you're really into it. Well, what's your favorite meme?
What's your name? Oh.
She's got it. Screensaver.
Hold on. There's been a few. I think one of my favorite ones will like forever be the white guy blinking, in which I can't find it. Adam knows which one it is. I showed it last time he was here.
I have a new favorite one. My favorite
yeah,
one
yes.
is currently the Marsha Brady Sure Jam one.
Can I see this?
Well, you see the Brady Bunch, right?
Yeah.
And Marsha Brady's like the most savage of all the Brady Bunch.
She is.
And so there's like one scene, she's like, Sure Jan. And that's it.
That's great.
And so when people tell me stuff and I'm just like, I just send that and I'm just like, Sure Jan.
I changed your contact name to Jan in my phone for quite some time.
Because my name's Jane, and so
Yeah.
my friends in Arizona call me Janet, and then they call me Jan now. Because sometimes
Oh, that one's great.
I'll get emails from people and be like, Hi Jan. I got one last week that said Hi Jean, like Jean.
They're not even trying at this point.
Yeah.
I could see them butchering my name, but your name is Jane. It's really
a hard life.
Yeah.
It's such an easy name to spell. How do they mess it up that bad?
Yeah. So what was the last photo you took on your phone?
Let's see. The last photo I took.
This
on
is
my
always like
phone.
It's always a really intense.
This
sort of
question
thing. You
can
never know
always
what to
go
expect.
really poorly, but we take the risk anyway because this is pre-recorded.
The last photo was a bro date I had with Adam. We went out. He took me out to
I
dinner
love
last
it.
night to celebrate.
That's so cute!
That's
I
the
don't know if
cutest
it's working.
photo.
But yeah, he
I'm
bought
so
me
happy.
dinner.
I'm so happy in that.
Yeah,
moment.
like
We
overly
got it.
happy. He
Where
bought
did
me
you go?
dinner because we were celebrating like we passed 3 million streams on our new single with Shallow and Casbo. So this was us celebrating that.
Where did you go?
That's so cute.
But something Bella.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was near one of our meetings.
What did you have?
We had sandwiches.
Sandwiches.
Yeah.
We love sandwiches!
I'm thinking of
The
spring
sandwich
break.
you
We got
had.
like the most. I had like the most amazing. If you're in DC, go up to 7th Street,
Mhm.
walk all the way up to like, I want to say, L Street, maybe. It's right across the street from 2 Starbucks on the same block. And there's this Spanish restaurant called Jaleo, and I had the best sandwich there.
Mhm.
And I've never had a better sandwich in my life.
Next time I'm in DC, I will definitely forget that. But
We'll text Adam, like, hey.
My aunt's like, hey, do you want to go to Jaleo? I'm like, okay. And I had the best sandwich of my life.
So you're in New York, and we're known for our pizza.
yeah.
So what's your perfect pizza?
I'm so plain. I like a pepperoni pizza with ranch. Yeah.
With the ranch.
Ranch dressing.
Thin crust or thick crust?
Just medium.
Medium crust.
Not thin. I don't like thin. So I guess just regular. Just
With
regular
ranch.
crust.
I never understood like why people.
Have you
like,
tried it though?
Ranch. No, I haven't.
So that's why.
My friend
Alright.
Joey,
Make a
she's
pizza later with ranch.
she's obsessed with ranch. Like we went to the drive-through Dairy Queen in Arizona once
Oh no.
to get ice cream, and she was like, "Hey, can you ask them for ranch? Not to put on her ice cream, but so she could drink the ranch when we went through the car wash."
No, really?
Why?
So that's a problem.
See, that's something that would be like on My Strangest Addictions.
Yeah, it's a problem.
She sold her soul for ranch.
Can I talk to her later to be like, do you need some help?
She's coming to town next month.
Oh, perfect. I'll meet her then.
So when will your next album, EP,
Or potential
and
EP.
or single come out?
Single will come out in May, and
Okay.
we will have an EP or album this summer. So I'm very
Ooh,
excited
Ooh,
about it.
exciting. That's
Yeah.
exciting.
That's fun.
Very psyched. I've been wanting to do a full project for a long time. So.
Yay!
Yay,
We're excited.
That's awesome.
We're excited. Can we ask the last question?
Go ahead, knock yourself out.
So,
I did not write this question. I opened up the doc this morning and it was there, and I said,
Jimmy
Jane,
Fallon did
no.
this, so I feel like it's... Can we touch your hair?
Yeah.
This is how we got Trump as our president, because Jimmy Fallon... I'm not comparing you, I'm just saying. Yay! It's curly, that's why I feel like curls.
Oh, well, you guys get that. I
We're like twinning.
have
Yeah,
straight
yeah.
hair.
We have like the
Okay.
same length too.
Yay!
No, I'm kidding.
So, do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, how do you come up with all these genius questions?
Trial and error.
Trial and error.
And sometimes we'll research good interview questions.
Oh yeah, no. I went ahead and I looked up weird interview questions for one of our first interviews, and I find like all these weird questions about things that are meant for job interviews.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, let's use them. And then each time we do an interview, we're like, okay, this one worked, that one didn't.
And this is like the most non-formal like interview ever.
Right.
Yeah,
No.
we're chill.
We're pretty chill.
Very chill. Very fun.
So,
Thank you for
This-
coming in.
this
Thanks
is
for
TBA
having
with
me.
Felicia and Jane. Make sure you check out Cody Lovaas on the interwebs.
Yeah.
We'll post all the links at the end of the video.
Sweet.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yay.